Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of ghbond Monday Night Live, where there's no edits because I don't have time for them. And here I am back at my channel where I watch Richard Hart so that you don't have to, and Richard Hart invaded Twitter Spaces. I was minding my own business, listening to Orca talk philosophy and a YouTube stream, and all of a sudden, Orca said, I have to leave. Richard Hart's looking for me in Twitter Space. And I'm like, Twitter Space? He doesn't do that, but there he was. So he was in a non-affiliated Twitter Space for about an hour, and then he was in another one for maybe 15 minutes. And finally, Orca hosted one, and he spent 4 hours there. And yes, actual use for information at some point came out of that. Now, of course, Richard's been bragging a lot lately about being a rock star, running around with the guys from Korn, which I like that band, so sounds like fun, but he got on this and he fought off fatigue and kept going for 4 hours. Pretty incredible. And one of the things he did is he talked to a guy named Tangent. Tangent, I wouldn't call him a Bitcoin maximalist, but at least he's a Bitcoin supporter. And although a bunch of people were waiting to talk, Richard specifically wanted to go through all of the points with Tangent, and so he did. And you see a depiction to the right that Orca tweeted. Kind of shows Orca and Vin and Bullish holding him down, and the speakers waiting patiently for the body to stop twitching as Richard Hart just butchered him. In actuality, it was very respectful. The only point Richard really sort of laid it to him is what he said, I'm just so smart. At times, I just don't realize that what's so obvious to me isn't necessarily obvious to you. But he basically laid to rest the main concern of Tangent. Tangent thought that Richard Hart was just bludgeoning Bitcoin verbally and tearing Bitcoin maximalists up because it obviously isn't HEX. But after going through it, he gained a respect that, yes, Richard actually has good points for why he doesn't believe Bitcoin is a great coin. And so he definitely changed his mind a little bit based on his long discussion with Richard. So that was part of it. But the part that we care about is, of course, when PulseChain is going to launch. He had some things to say about that because, thankfully, person after person seemed like nobody was going to ask when PulseChain was going to launch. And this guy didn't ask it directly, but what he did ask is, there's a rumor out there that you're waiting for the bottom of the bear market. So what did Richard say? So Richard said he's not waiting for the bottom of the crypto bear market. And he said that in case of Pulse and PulseX, at the launch, they're going to start with a value of 0. So it doesn't matter really when you launch. The only place for them to go from 0 is up. Then he said he hadn't thought about it too deeply because it's not necessary for him to think about it too deeply right now because we're nowhere near launch. He says he has 17 developers and there's nothing he can do but wait for them to get it ready. He said there's risks of attack that they're addressing, which is the first time I've heard that. The risks of attack are not attacks that would cause people to lose money, but attacks that would shut the chain down. And of course, he wants the chain to have 100% perfect, flawless uptime. So there's that going on, which is a new item as well. He also said that some of the activities that these developers are working on are in duplicate, which means he has teams working on things maybe from multiple directions. So if one team can't seem to get their function finished, the duplicate team perhaps will be able to get it done a different way, which was interesting as well. And then finally, not a couple sentences later, he said again he's looking forward to the film. Now, I don't know still if that means that the film comes before PulseChain, because he was saying the film might come out in January. But anybody who's thinking that PulseChain is going to come out in July certainly got the impression from this that that is not happening. One of the other things he said, not related to launch, but I thought was important, was that the most important thing in all this is the community. He needs a strong, supportive community. He wants us all to support each other and work on activities, because the important thing is when we do launch, we want as many people on board as possible, as many people aware of the PulseChain and participating as we can possibly get. So that's our function in this waiting period for the developers to finish, however long that might be. So enjoy the 4th of July, and we'll continue keeping the faith and waiting on PulseChain.